There are a lot of symbols in the Christian religion. They've all been used, misused, misunderstood, and taken for granted. We're embarking on a journey to look at several of these symbols as we try to put them in their proper and right place. This Tuesday, we start with the rainbow, the cross, and the lamb. Regardless of the sometimes negative use of these symbols, we can be reassured that the biblical meanings remain. It's time to remind ourselves who owns the copyright to the mark and or character of the rainbow, the cross, and the lamb. Join us as host Bishop Steve Harold Blair and guests Apostle Emil Richards and Evangelist Chris Lewis look at the rainbow, the cross, and the lamb. It's all on The Rock, Tuesday, February 4th at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Hello, welcome to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the main watch now. There is an agency that has stated in a report that several pastors and churches in the various Caribbean countries have been supporting LGBTQIA and SOGI communities. And Jamaica is one such Caribbean country. Others include Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. And the churches include the Baptist Church, the Anglican Church, the Methodist Church, the Presbyterian and Lutheran churches. They are identified as allies, and interestingly, the names of some specific individuals are listed as well. Organizations named as barriers to those agendas are the Lawyers Christian Fellowship of Jamaica and the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, also of Jamaica. And I will indicate that I am a member of the Lawyers Christian Fellowship, and I'm also a past president. Now, in terms of what is meant by LGBTQI, I think most listeners by now know it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. I think Q is for queer. I think I is for intersex. I'm not sure what A is for. Maybe all sexual, but don't quote me on that. SOGI communities, I must say I saw that abbreviation for the first time. It appears to be representing or means sexual orientation and gender identities. We have as guests this morning to discuss this very interesting topic. Would like to see what's happening here. Dr. Wayne West, chairman of the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, which is named as a barrier organization in this relevant report. And we also have online Apostle Dr. Michael Smith, my humble apologies, Dr. Smith holds several positions. He is chairman of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches. He's president of the Independent Churches of Jamaica. He's also founding pastor of Kingdom Seekers Ministries International. Dr. West and Apostle Dr. Smith, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Stokely. Good morning.
I will start with you, Dr. West. Almost upon a break already, never enough time on the morning watch. First of all, Dr. West, your thoughts, because the relevant report, and this is just for the benefit of all concerned, listeners, and of course for you as well, guests, this relevant report, which was referenced in an article in the Freedom Comrade newspaper dated February the 1st, 2025. The organization referenced in the article is the Arcus Foundation. And I'm taking a look now at a publication under the name Arcus Foundation. And the heading of the page or the report is Faith-Based Efforts in the Caribbean to Combat Discrimination Based on Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity. It's quite a revealing report, and a bit of context in terms of the date of the report. It is dated March 2020, so it is somewhat dated, but has been brought to the attention of the Morning Watch, and I see it is here to be done today. Now, among the churches listed include the ones I named earlier, and of course, some individuals are named as well, including persons who are in the clergy, prominent members of the Jamaican clergy. The paper again, Faith-Based Efforts in the Caribbean to Combat Sexual Discrimination Based on Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity. So it's in this report under the heading, the Arcus Foundation. Your thoughts, Dr. West?
Well, first of all, the Arcus Foundation was formed by John Stryker, who is the heir of the Stryker. It's a medical facility, it's a facility or a business, really, a billion-dollar business that makes medical equipment, and he is sympathetic to the LGBTQIA people and their objectives. Now, these people have a different worldview. As a Christian, my worldview starts, as all worldviews start, with where did the universe come from? And I accept that when we look at all the evidence, the only logical place that the universe can come from is from a powerful and intelligent being. Now, that being has certain moral standards, and he has made the universe in a way that, there is design and purpose. So you have male and female, and anything that does not go along with that is sin. Other persons, of course, have a different worldview. And you will find, as Christ has said, that even in the church, there will be tares. And tares will be people who are in the church, but have different worldviews, who will say, well, God says this, but we don't really believe it, and we will do what we believe. In fact, there's a gentleman who classifies atheists, and he puts persons like that, the tares, who would say, look, God made the universe, we believe that, but we do what we feel. He will describe them as functional atheists. So it is not surprising to find that when the Arcus Foundation, what they did actually, they did a study to see the impact of faith on the LGBT and SOGI, which is sexual orientation and gender identity, political agenda. There were people who they classified as allies and those who they classified as barriers. And the group that I belong to, the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, holds the Judeo-Christian worldview, the biblical worldview, as the only true worldview. So naturally, we are a barrier to the other worldview, which denies what the Bible stands for.
This is a very stunning report. And when I saw the contents of it, I was saying, wow, very interesting. But we're upon a break already. Apostle Dr. Smith, we will have you, of course, comment after the break. Listeners, please stay with us. It's a very, very important conversation this morning. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
We are on the road. Discover a new
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Home Owner Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. This fragrance is so amazing, you have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone. Will that be cash or card?
Card.
Do you have a supermarket card from Flow too?
Yes. It's just like Flow paying for my groceries.
Sign up for Yard and Road for only $6,300 plus VCT, and you too can get a $10,000 supermarket card. Get Yard and Road, the plan that pays you back. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the main watch, and the topic is: are there any attempts to advance the LGBTQI and SOGI agendas through churches, charities, and civil society organizations? Our guests are Dr. Wayne West and Apostle Dr. Michael Smith. And just before we ask Apostle Dr. Smith to comment, Dr. Wayne West had commented just before the break. I just want to make reference to a website, it would appear, of the Arcos Foundation, which you can search the internet to locate it. And a little bit from the website indicates the following. Arcos Foundation is a philanthropic organization that funds and advocates for LGBTQ rights, and I will continue, and apes and gibbons protection. I made reference to those additional words, and apes and gibbons protection, Dr. West, because before the break, you started with the worldview that you hold to, which I hold to as well. We are made in the image of God, not your exact words, but that's really what you mean. And then you went on to speak about other worldviews, which sounded like it could include persons who believe in evolution. So it reminded me of what I saw on the website for the Arcos Foundation, you know, the inclusion of apes and gibbons for protection, as well as, of course, LGBTQ rights. Apostle Dr. Smith, your thoughts?
Okay, good morning again to you both, and the listeners. Well, I do believe that we are all on the same page with regards to this matter, because as a Christian, as a pastor, I believe the Word of God. It's the basic tenets of our faith, and the Bible does tell us from the very first book, Genesis, the onset, that God created male and female. And so we know the story about Adam and Eve, and the mandate that they were given to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And so, yes, I believe it's God's order. And so those who would be of a different view with regards to gender identity, sexual orientation, etc., we would, as the church, and I'm speaking as a pastor, we would be opposed to any thing that would go against the natural order of God. And so I'm in agreement with it. Let me just say that very recently, I was in a forum speaking. It dealt with religious freedom and a certain amount of tolerance to persons who are other faiths. I know this is not the same, but I do believe that a certain amount of tolerance, and as a pastor, I have to exercise tolerance, be non-discriminatory. I can't discriminate against various people groups, of which the LGBTQ, whatever, would be one of those people groups. So there are many people groups that we interact with as pastors, as clergy, and so we have to be able to minister to them without discriminating against them. So this is not any other thing that would be opposed to Christianity. And so I believe that we are called as pastors, as Christians, to be able to minister to these various groups without discriminating against them.
Is ministering to them, in your view, the same as agreeing with them? In other words, by not discriminating against them, are you saying that you are agreeing with their conduct or their lifestyle or their behavior?
No, I'm not saying that. You don't have to minister to somebody. You don't have to agree with them. You minister to them. And so, I think the great commission is to go and make disciples. And so the point I'm making, while we don't uphold their lifestyle, we still have to find a way to minister to them.
Now, one of the organizations that is listed in the report, and this is what the report says, not what Love 101 FM is saying, but according to the list of faith-based LGBTQI initiatives in the region, they have a number of organizations per Caribbean country. This is a very well laid out report, very well organized, you can tell. When it comes to Jamaica, they list among the entities that are organizations. They refer to the Jamaica Council of Churches, the Sunshine Cathedral, in brackets you have US, and Jamaica Aid Support, and the United Theological College of the West Indies. For example, when it makes reference to the United Theological College of the West Indies, it says, under another column, that other column reads initiative. It says 2 radical voices, 1 female, 1 male, shaped the dialogue on human rights and gender issues. And in terms of the impact, which is under another column, it reads the following. Their ideology of inclusion created a language and understanding of a theology of inclusion. And there are a number of other things in this report. I'm not sure if there's enough time to go through it in the Morning Watch, but there are a number of faith-based allies, not what the Morning Watch says, not what Love 101 is saying, but what the report says, what the report reads. A number of faith-based allies throughout the Caribbean. When they get to Jamaica, they name a number of individuals. Reverend Canon Garth Minot of the Anglican Church, Reverend Sean Major Campbell of the Anglican Church, Reverend Marvia Laws of the Baptist Church, Reverend Devon Dick, Open Bible Baptist, that's how they name the entity, and Reverend Damian Williams, Open Bible. Again, this is what the report says. Dr. West, any thoughts? Because the apostle is saying, minister to. And I, by the way, agree with Apostle, minister to. But this report is making reference to allies, not just institutions, but allies, individuals. And I'm not saying that the list is correct, but it's in the report. Dr. West?
Yeah. Well, as I said, people have different worldviews. And even persons who claim to be Christian do not necessarily have a biblical worldview. There are persons who say they are Christians that don't believe anything from Genesis 1 to Genesis 11. And they probably don't even believe in the call of Abraham. But yet still they occupy positions in churches, and some of them are in the pulpit. And persons who do not have a biblical worldview, but who identify, we are now in the era where you can identify you can be a man, but identify as a woman. I think that we have a similar thing.
Dr. West, I'm not really going there. I'm focusing specifically on the enlisting, if I could use that term, of individuals and institutions in the Christian church that this group, the Arcus Foundation, which you did give us the background, what they're really saying is that they're using the church to advance things which hitherto I don't think the church would be cooperating in or with, sir.
Well, this is the point I'm making, that there are people in the church who do not, in fact, have a biblical worldview, and that is why they can cooperate with these organizations. Now, I think in the report it said it did. I don't know if it said that it did use, the Arcus Foundation does use charitable things, like, for example, controlling HIV, and fund that and use it as a means to advance the political and legal agenda of the LGBTQ. But I think those persons, I don't know if the Arcus Foundation was working with the persons you listed, but they identify them as persons who are sympathetic and are allies of the LGBT political and legal movement.
Understood. Well, I mean, I see. I suppose the genesis for this discussion this morning might have been the report from Freedom Come Rain. I came to see that it was being done for today, and then the more you drill down, is the more information you're getting. Now, I think most persons are very familiar with the views of Reverend Sean Major Campbell, but some of the other names that I saw listed there, I was a little bit surprised. And I don't want to assume that these individuals have a particular worldview one way or the other. You have made...
Well, they must have. You must have a particular worldview. Sorry to cut you, but you must have a different worldview to hold a position like Sean Major Campbell. He doesn't have my worldview. We do not share the same worldview.
Well, I'm agreeing that his position on various issues is well known, including LGBTQI, sex work, abortion. But I think a lot of persons, if they look at this report, they'll be quite surprised at the contents of it. And what might not be surprising, of course, are the entities that they regard as barrier organizations, such as the Lawyers Christian Fellowship and your organization, Dr. West, the Jamaica Coalition for Healthy Society. Where do we go from here, Dr. West? Because we've never enough time in the morning watch. We're just about out of time already.
Right. I think that what the Jamaican people must understand, that you can go to church and people can call themselves Christians, but persons who call themselves Christians do not necessarily have what we call a biblical worldview. They do not see the world through the lens of the Bible. They may see the world through another lens. And that the fact of the matter is, this is why Christ can say that they're wheat and tares. The wheat are the people who live by faith. The tares are the people who live as they see fit, which is what functional atheism is. You say there is a God, but you live as you see fit. And that's why I say my group has a different worldview from the people who they cited, who are in Christian churches, but who support the LGBT. I think that's the take-home point. And the fact of the matter is that Christ said the wheat and the tares will grow together until the harvest at the end of the age.
Well, Dr. West, I think we're completely out of time. Apostle Dr. Smith, I think we're completely out of time. The Love 101 FM on the Morning Watch will not go as far as to say who is a wheat and who is a tare, but the contents of this report are very interesting, and I would even add shocking, stunning adjectives like that.
In your fruit, you will know them.
Dr. West, Reverend, I'm so sorry, Apostle Dr. Smith.
Yes,
I wish we had a little bit more time, but we're completely out of time. Very, very shocking. The contents of this report are something else.
Discussion, and I do believe that it needs to be ventilated more. Eh?
I agree. We need to have more discussion. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Time by Jam Bank is
7:31.
You gotta make your love clap. One color, or you want some shampoo. Someone everyone can it is a top. It's the Valentine if you love me, know you want it. Perfume wine, steady bass and talk.
A new story is being written for all Jamaicans. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is on a mission to transform lives, from increasing access to potable water, providing secure homes for the most vulnerable, and helping you own a piece of the rock. We're revitalizing communities and preserving our environment. And with every road built and every investment made, we're making an impact. See the difference. Feel the difference. Building a better Jamaica for you and me.
Febreze. Imagine getting home after a long day and it smells so amazing that it makes you smile. Try Febreze Buds, an air freshener that delivers continuous scent for up to 50 days when you plug it in low mode. Indulge in wonderful scents for weeks with Febreze.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have here in Luke Jamaica News, Delroy Williams formally announces interest in Central Clarendon seat. Deputy Mayor of Kingston and Government Senator Delroy Williams has announced that he has formally written to the governing Jamaica Labour Party Secretariat to advise of his interest in becoming the party's next candidate. And of course, the story continues, announcing his interest in the Central Clarendon seat. We turn now to the Gleaner. Rubio, that is the new U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, says El Salvador offers to accept deportees from U.S. of any nationality, including Americans. We turn now to the Observer, other U.S. related news. The headline here in the Observer is Doomsday. And this story by Arthur Hall of the Observer. Doomsday. Local NGOs facing imminent closure as leading donor USAID is shuttered by Trump administration. Although I'm not sure if it's actually closed, maybe shuttered, maybe the right word is I think it's more a pause. In fact, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio himself, is the acting director of the USAID at the moment, and they have indicated that they will continue to fund various things, but the entity USAID as it was, obviously they're going to be making a lot of changes. Well, those and many other stories in our various news sources. Coming up next, we'll read for some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp, where the question is, how is President Trump doing so far? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the next Campus Connection as we focus on prayer in praying times. We are inviting all youth and youth-serving organizations to stand with us as we intercede and pray for the salvation and transformation of our nation's youth and more. We will have Mrs. Esther Wong from the Global Prayer and Intercessory Ministry, Mr. Joel Stewart, President of the Michael UCCF, Miss Topaz Barrett from the Mount Alvernia High School, ISCF, and Mrs. Tricia Nelson Watson, SCSFU Western Region Field Officer, on Tuesday, February 4 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. Campus Connection is brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. That's Campus Connection, Tuesday, February 4 at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station, Love 101.
Hey, 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 small people crew! It's me, Auntie Vashti, and I have a brand new lesson for you. Join me this Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. on the Small People Show, where little voices make big sounds. Inside EduFantastic Tuesdays, we make learning super fun. We're diving into maths, English, science, history, and so much more. Don't miss out. Tune in this and every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. with me, Auntie Vashti, only on the family station, Love 101.
You gave the wind a mighty voice, your love throughout the sky. Oh, oh, oh.
And February 14, Love 101 will be 32 years old. Of the National Religious Media Commission. So Love 101 FM's 32nd anniversary. This year, we're sharing touching hearts. 1 Corinthians 16:14. Let all you do be done in love. Love 101, 32 years. Please trust it to us in love. Let love shine us.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Let us now look at the responses to our social media question, which is, how is President Trump doing so far?
All right, so we have a response from Cherry in Spanish Town, and it's regarding the first watch. So it says, God loves them, but he doesn't love the sin. Romans speaks about presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. And of course, in James 1, verses 22 to 25, it says, be doers and not only hearers of the word. So yes, God loves them, but he who has an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit has to say. Have a productive day. So yes.
Well, that is the second sermon during the Morning Watch for today. The first one by Billy Graham, and the name of the listener again was
Cherry in Spanish Town.
Yes, who often sends in her comments. So, Cherry, you gave the second sermon for the day. Thank you, Cherry. Well, we move right into the second watch. Now, he officially became president again on Monday, 20th January 2025, and he wasted no time doing what he said he would do. He had made promises in relation to immigration, foreign policy, the economy, and ceasing the funding of transgender programs. How has he been doing so far? What has his impact been like in the past couple of days to date that he's been in office? We have as our guest this morning to discuss this Bishop Basil Hanson, founder and the chief executive officer of MTM TV and the vice president of ACCM, and he's also a Christian activist. We also have Pastor Silburn Carr, pastor of the Abundant Life Christian Church. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Starting with you, Pastor Carr. How have the past couple of days been? About 15 days or thereabout to date that he's been in office? What has he done so far that impresses you, does not impress you? What is your view of what he has been doing to date, or your views, Pastor Carr?
Okay, thank you. What has impressed me is his stance on LGBT, transgender, all of that area there. He kind of put it on and put on it, and I love that. Beautiful. However, some things that I think that he has overreached was the executive order to discontinue citizenship from persons who are undocumented and have children there. I think that is overriding the Constitution. The second thing is that he said that
what they call birthright citizenship.
Right.
Okay.
That is going into the Constitution, which you don't have the power to do that. And then another thing that he did, I think, which is not wise, is the tariff. That going to start a trade war, and it's going to be bad for both sides. Nobody wins trade wars. And I think Trump thinks that he's in the 40s. In the 40s, protection of industries was what a lot of countries did. You use tariffs to do that. We're in a globalized society now, and people specialize, and trade is the order of the day. So that I think that's a bad move. He said that he would have ended the Ukraine war within a day. We're gone 10 days now, and it don't look like it's going to end.
Well, more than 10 days, but I know what you mean.
Immigration is fine, because if you're in a person's country legally, they have the legal right to deport you. I don't have a problem with that.
Understood. Reverend Hanson, Donald Trump, his days so far, how do they strike you?
Good morning, Stokely. Thanks for having me. Happy 2025. The best for this year. I believe some semblance of normalcy is returning to America and the world. And I'm happy for that. And I also believe God has given us an opportunity to reap the harvest. I believe truly after this is going to be real, pain and suffering. I took note of what Davos said. WEF, World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
They have admitted that 4 years ago, Donald Trump was dead. Now, they are saying this is the greatest comeback in the history of politics, right? And they have admitted they have lost, but they are also saying that they shape the world. Trump has said to them, not so fast. We are a sovereign nation, and we will not allow a few people who are powerful and rich to tell us how to live. The next thing I'm happy for, he has withdrew from WHO. I would love for more countries to withdraw from WHO, including Jamaica. I think WHO has gone woke. When you can label transgender, LGBT, and all those things as normal, it means that they have lost their way and therefore should not be trusted and should not be guiding health issues at this time, because transgenderism and homosexuality are abnormal. They cannot be normal, no matter who said they are normal. And so those are some of the things, I am impressed with as we look forward to more normalcy coming from this administration. I believe God is using Trump to do what many of us pastors cannot do. He's fearless, and I have come to realize that God doesn't stand with the coward. He doesn't stand with those who are fearful. God stands on the side of those that are good. Huh?
There's a verse in the book of Revelation that says even the fearful or the cowardly will go to hell. But let's pick up on this.
The first one going to hell.
Well,
yes. So God doesn't stand on the side of fear. So those Christian brothers and sisters who entertain fear, God is not standing with you. He's standing on the side of those who are brave and bold. The righteous are as bold as a lion. And that is what Trump has shown that many of our Christian leaders have not shown.
Reverend, I want to cut you, but I didn't want to cut you, Reverend, because you were in the middle of a thought, but we are definitely upon a break. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back up on the Morning Watch.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowner Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Mama work hard, for real. He be the most to send me and my brother to school. So, the dream is always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled the whole dream with one Joint Bank savings plan enough. Further my education, and I make mama proud.
Wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way. Will that be cash or card?
Card.
You have a supermarket card from Floto?
Yes. It's just like Flo paying for groceries.
Sign up for Yard and Road for only $6,300 plus GCT. And you too can get a $10,000 supermarket card. Get Yard and Road, the plan that pays you back. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. The topic is President Trump. So far, how is he doing? And in this second watch, we have as our guest Bishop Basil Hanson, as well as Pastor Silburn Carr. Bishop Hanson, just before the break, you're making a point. You made reference to the fact that, well, in your view, Donald Trump, and I think I kind of agree with you, Reverend Hanson, Donald Trump is saying what a lot of pastors ought to be saying and doing and are not, or they're not doing it boldly enough, or they're not doing it loudly enough. And I had made reference to a verse of scripture from the book of Revelation that even the fearful, the cowardly, will end up in the lake of fire. Reverend Hanson, were you finished with your thought, or you have something else to add before we bring back in Pastor?
Yes, Stokely. Thanks again. As I said, I have been in the Christian faith for over 30 years. I've seen a lot of things, and I've witnessed a lot of things. And one of the things that I like about Sean Campbell, as he was mentioned in the previous program, is that he says what he believes and he stands there. I don't agree with him, but he makes you know what he's about. There are some of us who are lukewarm. In private, we are one way, and in public, we are one way. We are cowards. We are fearful. And so we won't say certain things. I remember, in the recent pandemic, there are persons who would not speak the truth, and they would not speak what they believe was the truth. They were afraid. They were afraid of backlash. They were afraid they might lose their job. They might lose. I stand on the side of courage every day of my life. If God cannot protect me, then nobody else can. And if God cannot open a door for me, then nobody else can. And that is where I would love to see the Christian faith and the Christian church, where we are not afraid to speak out against things that the Bible clearly says is wrong. Homosexuality is wrong. God loves the sinner, but him not supporting and him not endorsing. And I have seen pastors, because their children are involved in those lifestyles, they come out and support it. No, your children is not above God. So I am grateful for courage and leadership that I see in America. Donald Trump has brought back leadership to America, and I am in full support of his courage and what he's doing. Some of the things that he's doing is normal. And you know, you mentioned about tariff earlier on. The tariff is accomplishing what he wants to accomplish. He's saying the borders are open between Canada and Mexico. All kinds of people are coming into our country. I see Jamaica, just recently, some Asian landed here the morning, and by the evening, we usher them back to Haiti. It means we don't want an open border. We don't want a country that any and everybody can just come in. So I am in total support to tariff them if they will not close the border, because that's how we have to put the thing in context. He's not just tariffing people for tariff's sake. He's trying to accomplish what he tells the people that he would. We want closed border, and therefore, this is what we are going to do if you're not willing to do it freely. So the tariff is not going to be used in a willy-nilly way. The tariff is going to be used to accomplish a specific task. And once the task is being accomplished, there is no tariff. Notice the tariff has been paused on Canada and Mexico because they have complied. They have decided to close the borders and do stuff. So we have to say things how it is supposed to be said.
I was going to say what you just said, but you said it, Basil Hanson, Bishop Basil Hanson. And I will add that Bishop Hanson and Pastor Carr, in terms of bravery, I would comment that you're both very brave gentlemen, and maybe that is the reason why you're a frequent guest on the Morning Watch. Pastor Silver and Carr.
I noticed that Bishop Hanson only speaks of the things. What he has said, I don't disagree with anything he has said, you know.
Yeah.
The problem with the tariff, but there are other things that Trump did that is a divisive behavior, like when there were the forest fires in California. Instead of sympathizing with the people, they start to blame them. You don't blame at that point. When the crash took place in the DC, they start to say DEI and other things. You don't do that at that time. In the midst of grief, you wait until after the grief you do that. So there are things, I've always said it. I have a problem with his character.
I didn't hear him criticize the residents of California, though. I heard him criticizing the state of California in terms of the government.
That's not the time you do that.
Yeah, well, I'm just correcting you. Well, let me not say correct.
You know, as a leader, you can't do that. Unite. And I said that's an incentive of that. He behaved as if he's the president for only Republicans only.
Yeah, yes, but remember, you are indicating you're criticizing the people. Remember that you could have been more specific. So the people you're referring to in California were like the mayor and the governor. He was criticizing.
That's not the time to do it. After you clean up, you do that.
When would have been the right time to do it? You said
when all the fires have been subsided and we sit down and we talk now. I said, look, this is what you did wrong.
But isn't that what politicians
that's not a good leader.
Isn't that what politicians always do? They blame the other side.
But he is the president of the United States, of all the United States. You have a plane crash. People are mourning. And in the midst of that, you're blaming people.
But I've heard Democrat leaders do similar things, you know.
We're not talking about Democrats. We're talking about the present president now. That is it a subject now. So let's not shift it now.
No, but you spoke about Republicans. He acts as if he's only for Republicans. I mean, both.
That's how he behaved. He behaved as if he's the president for only Republicans. But check how he behaved.
Yes,
I'm balance in our analysis. He has done good, but he has done bad as well.
Well, I'm just making the point that other politicians do similar things. They just start blaming the other side. It's always the other side's fault. But anyway, any other issues that you have in terms of with President Trump, whether you agree or disagree? You know, he pardoned he pardoned January 6 persons. And let me finish, Pastor Carr. No, you're two both brave gentlemen. Let me just finish yours. He allegedly, well, I'm seeing here, canceled the electric vehicle mandate. Yes, he did. I actually heard him say that. He canceled the electric vehicle mandate. He's returning to drilling for oil. He used the term drill baby, something like that. Drill baby, drill, something like that. What was it, Reverend Hanson? I can't recall exactly. Drill baby drill. Yes, I am correct. Yes, yes. And limiting or ending the participation of males in women's sports under the ban of being transgender, and ending gender affirming care practices. Gentlemen, in the couple of minutes we have left, Pastor Carr, you're coming in first, and then Reverend Hansen.
I was saying that to issue a blanket pardon is very dangerous. These men attack the capital, they attack policemen, some policemen died, were injured. I would say go through the files, pick out the non-violent one and pardon them. You can't pardon the violent people. And he was the one that instigated the movement.
Instigated? On an editorial note, I must intervene. The Morning Watch is not saying that President Trump instigated anything. As a matter of fact, if you listen to his words carefully, he was actually telling the persons that they must be peaceful. So the Morning Watch can't countenance that.
Afterward, don't cherry pick what he said.
No, before they went, no, Reverend Pastor Carr, he never said that before. No. He never said that. As a matter of fact, I suspect that was why he was never charged for insurrection, but that's another conversation. I don't practice that.
People, he instigated them to go and do it.
The Morning Watch cannot say he instigated any such thing because there's no such evidence.
I started my own eyes. I heard it. I'm bravely declaring that.
No, you, Pastor Carr, you are wrong. He did not say that. And you are wrong. That's assumption. I want to say on the issue of pardon.
He didn't
talk about pardon. Joe Biden has given preemptive pardon to people who have not even committed a crime or charged for a crime. We don't talk about that.
I'm talking about Joe Biden this morning. So don't mix up Joe Biden.
You're talking about pardon. I'm not talking about Joe Biden or Trump. You're talking about pardon. And if you are talking about pardon, you have to deal with it in a broader context. However,
talking about
I want to say strongly,
let Reverend Hansen, let Bishop Hansen finish.
Bishop Hansen finish. That Trump has some of these things, the banning of mandating vehicle and all of that. I agree with him, banning of transgender I don't want a male to be in a female bathroom. That's nonsense. That's not common sense. And those are, in fact, over the other day, just a few days ago, they were doing some election for the DNC here. And one thing they said that, in my mind, I wonder if these people don't learn. We are going to choose a male and a female and somebody of the other gender. What kind of nonsense is that? I am happy to hear a US president come out and say we only believe in two gender, we only have two gender, male and female. And as a Christian leader, as so God said, and that me stand by. Anybody else want to stand by something else and proclaim Christ? I am not, you are not for Christ. Christ says he created male and female, and that is where we need to stand as Christians, and we need to not be afraid, right? So I am very much aware, and I'm happy for those decisions. Those are common sense, and I don't know what else anybody else would do in that. And America is happy at this time. There is some hope in America that things is getting back to normal.
Bishop Hansen, Pastor Carr, to leave it there this morning. Completely and totally time. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues. Visit our YouTube channel and Facebook page, and now TikTok at Love 1FM Jamaica for this and all other Love 1FM programs. And of course, download our Love 101 app and stay connected to us, the family station, Love 101 FM, the #1 gospel station in Jamaica. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gill and to our guests. I am Stokely Marsh, and hand you back to Love in the Morning with Drakal.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness works to ensure the provision of quality health services and promotes healthy lifestyles and environmental practices for all Jamaicans. The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is
8 a.m. and you're now